Today's subject is health education and pharmacy. Then you have to see the chapter number 3, that is demography and family planning. Then in this lecture you have to see about the family planning, that is the temporary method. It is called as the intrauterine devices, IUDs. It is used for the family planning. It is also called as the temporary method or barrier method. Then first, in this scene, you have to see first the first generation IUDs. IUDs being the intrauterine devices, which are used for the family planning. Then these intrauterine devices are inert, then non-medicated devices, and it is made up of the polyethylene or other polymers. It is made up of polyethylene or other polymers. Then they appears in various shapes and sizes, like the loops, then spirals, then coils and rings. Intrauterine devices के अलग shapes होते हैं. The shapes like the first is loops, for example, then spiral, then coils and the rings. These are the shapes and sizes of the first generation IUDs, and it is inert, non-medicated devices and made up of the polyethylene or other polymers. Then in this first generation IUDs, the example is lippage loop. The lippage loop is commonly used devices in the first generation IUDs. Then you have to see the lippage loop. The lippage loop, it is double S shaped devices. The shape of lippage loop is double S devices. The made up of the polyethylene, and which is a non-toxic, non-reactive and durable in nature. And this is the diagram of lippage loop. The lippage loop contains the double S shape, which is double S shape, and which is attached the thread. It is called as the tail. This is the figure of lippage loop, which is reactive and durable, and it contains a small amount of barium sulfate, which allows X-ray examination. And this lippage loop contains a small amount of barium sulfate, which allows the X-ray examination. Then also it has attached a threads. It is called as tail. This is the thread. This is the S shape, double S shape, and in this end attached to the thread, it is called as the tail. Which threads, which is called as tail, which project into the vagina. Then the filling of these threads, and what is the use of these threads? Filling of these threads in the vagina assures that the loop is fits in proper place. This is the work of the tail. Means this lippage loop contains the double S shaped structure, and also it has attached one thread. It is called as the tail, which assures the loop it is in the proper place. Then we have to see advantages of lippage loop. It is simple and easy for insertion. Then second, which is very inexpensive. Then third is it is used in the reversible method. Then fourth, it does not interfere with the sexual pleasure. This is the advantages of lippage loop. Then we have to see the disadvantages. The first is for insertion, it needs a trained person for the insertion of the lippage loop. Then second, it needs adequate follow-up to the physicians. Then third, it should be replaced periodically. That is, the period is 2 to 4 years. Then it should be replaced periodically. The period is 2 to 4 years. The next is, it can be produce cancer of uterus and fibroids. Fibroids means growth of uterus. When it is rarely. So these are the disadvantages of this lippage loop. Then we have to see the second generation IUDs. The example of second generation IUDs is the older devices are called as copper 7, then copper 200, then the newer devices are Novartis and multi-load devices. Then we have to see the second generation IUDs. The second generation IUDs are copper containing devices. It contains the copper. Then the older devices are, for example, copper 7 and copper T20, and the newer devices are Novartis and multi-load devices. Then what is the mechanism of these second generation IUDs for family planning? The mechanism are they act by releasing the copper, because second generation IUDs are contain copper. So these release the copper into the uterus, and this copper enhances the cellular response. Then copper act on the cellular response in endometrium and alters, which is important, which alters the composition of cervical mucosa. Means this copper is made alters the composition of the cervical mucosa, and this is the figure of copper T. This is the T-shaped second generation uterine device. It is also called the copper T because it is T-shaped, and this copper and this T contains the copper. This is the copper which is attached on it, and this is alters the composition of the cervical mucosa. Then next we have to see the advantages of second generation IUDs. The first is it has a low expulsion rate, means force pulling is low in this second generation IUDs. Then second is it has lower the incidence of side effects like pain and bleed. This is the advantages of second generation IUDs, that is which lowers the incidence of side effect, that is like pain and bleed. Then third, it is easier to fit even in newly porous women, means in first time insertion it is easily fit in the newly porous woman. Then next is it increased contraceptive effect for family planning, and it has the work and increase the contraceptive effect. Then last is it is effective as post coital contraceptive if it is inserted within 3 to 5 days after the intercourse, and which is the advantages of this second generation IUDs.